everybody. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Sigrus Trench. So, this'll be interesting. Good news, Selena. We've had a stroke of luck in our search for that beacon. Oh boy. Apparently, our colleagues have stumbled across a hidden path leading down into the hollows around the base of the Crystal Tower. A path that we'd have found had the ironworks and the suns that added their numbers to the party. Thanks to them, we have eager eyes plenty down there, checking under the rocks and peering into every nook and cranny. Still, it sounds like there's a lot of ground to cover. Oh wow, this is a new layout. We better give them a hand. Sounds like tedious work, but not as tedious as walking around, I suppose. Exactly. So I was thinking we should go and lend a hand. The sooner we find that beacon, the sooner you can travel to wherever it is that mysterious voice is coming from. And the sooner we can work out how to help our friends. We have to find a way to wake them up, and before the Empire comes calling again. Meaning we have no time to lose. There's a boat in North Silvertier waiting to ferry people to the site, so let's be on our way. And of course you can see, like, there's a lot of changes. There's a lot of changes, which means the way I used to play this class is different now. I wonder how there's a lot to relearn stuff. Like now there's only 2 charges to get, which is interesting. You don't have the ether flow anymore. But you know, which actually makes the energy drain actually more useful since you have to use it. Like so. You use it, and then you get 2 stacks. Then you can use Fester or the Pain Flare, and it uses the stacks as usual. Chino's nice. Interesting. Energy siphon and energy drain. So energy siphon is basically... Okay, so energy siphon is basically a AoE version of energy drain. That's actually kind of good to know. Kind of useful. So, except this does 100 and this only does 40, but to multiple enemies, which, you know, interesting. What sucks is there's no Shadow Flare anymore. But, yeah, can't really do anything about that.
Look how many people there are.
Indeed.
Should we get to it then? Pick up anything that seems the least bit device-like, and we'll make ourselves a pile.
Well, if it isn't the hero of the hour, maybe you'll change our look. We've found bugger all without you.
What's up, Biggs and Wedge?
Biggs! Wedge!
Long time no see.
Aye, aye. Well, we could hardly say no to a call for aid from the Scions. Jesse called it the chief of some other business. So we'll be working twice as hard to make up for his not being here.
Wait, Jesse's a guy? Huh.
Thrice as hard, even.
Thank you, both of you. I'm sure we'll find that beacon in no time.
Hopefully. Shadowbringers. This will be an interesting expansion, to say the least.
I'm not seeing anything out here. Do you reckon you could squeeze in there, Wedge?
And get stuck halfway? No, thank you.
I could try if you like.
Tataru, no! We couldn't ask you to do that.
Oh, I'll be fine. This receptionist is not afraid to get her hands dirty.
Says the person who was afraid of pretty much everything she did when she tried to be an adventurer. But yeah. What would this be then?
Sorry, I meant to say, the scholars haven't finished their preliminary assessment of the site yet, so we're not supposed to venture too far in. What's that you got there? Now that looks promising.
Indeed it does.
Isn't that the Ironworks symbol? Counterfeiters?
Not exactly. Oh.
Now I have you.
You are right.
What's happening?
Crap.
Stay with me. Focus on my voice. Let expanse contract. Eon become instant.
Wait, this must be it. The device. Oh, this is supposed to happen.
Throw wide the gates that we may pass.
Oh, safe journey, warrior of light. Find our friends and bring them home.
One can hope. Something tells me it won't be that easy. It's never that easy, let's be honest. Where the hell am I? Whoa. This is kind of weird. Crystals?
Oh, do not look at me so.
You're slaves to a tyrant. There's no freedom in that. This is one battle you cannot fight. Away with you.
Spirited accounts always come from well. We did everything right. Everything that was asked of us, and still it came to this.
What was that?
Your time has not yet come.
Huh? The fuck? thoughts. But it's a warrior of darkness. I knew it. So we're in the world of dark, their world.
From endless dreams I awake. Something vague, yet urgent, calls me to action once more. You again.
Rare to meet someone out here who's not a peddler themselves. What brings you into the wilds this time of night?
What do you mean this time of night?
Well, if it ain't the oldest joke in the book. Me granddad, God's rest his soul, used to tell that one to the barman at kicking out time. And when, pray tell, did we last have a dark night? You rotten old drunk yet, he'd reply.
If you don't know, he looks a lot like the merchants we meet at the
Over
very beginning of the
100
game.
bleeding years ago, that's when.
Right, because light has encompassed all. That makes sense. This is where...
You got that look down to a T. I'd almost think you meant it.
I do.
Ah, got to you, did they? Poor beggar. That explains it then. Well, I've roads to travel and wares to sell, but you best hurry along to the town nearby. Just head east through the trees and aim for the Shining Tower. You'll find the place soon enough. 'Tis the biggest settlement for malms around. Go on now, friend. They'll take good care of you in the Crystarium.
Crystarium? I don't think we're in Kansas anymore. Yeah, because it's a reference. Yeah, but anyways.
To dizzying heights it rises. The gleaming spire. Its tip threatening to pierce the blinding canopy.
Crystal Tower. But
there, it will all begin anew. Between dark and light. The pure and the corrupt. The one true struggle.
Dark and light, the pure and corrupt. You saying the dark are pure? Shadowbtingers. Bum. Welcome to the world of darkness. Which ironically is extreme. Well, I guess in a way it's the opposite of darkness, but you know. That's not the point. Can't use the mouse here. That's weird. Still teleport to back and win again. We're back again, but you know. Probably should, you know, get a friggin' crystal before I do that. Where am I going?
Halt!
A Viera.
Every face in this city I know. Yours, I do not. This is the threshold of the Crystarium, stranger, and I am its gatekeeper. If you would enter, you will answer my questions.
Okay.
From where do you hail?
Limsalominza, the source.
Do you take me for a fool? No such place exists. Had you given me an honest answer, I would not have barred your way. We care little here for a person's place of origin. But instead, you chose concealment. And I will not suffer you to pass.
Well, that's a different looking to me. Crystal.
That one had eaten. It must have gulped down the whole hand. Ring and all.
Huh. Oh. Damn. I liked him. He's dead now. Jeez.
Everything all right, Captain?
Quite all right, my lord. Just a stray sin eater, and a weak one at that.
I see. Weak or not, we should be on the lookout for more. But I see you've met my guest. I will escort her to the Crystarium myself, if you've no objections.
Another of your mysterious friends, is it? I should have known.
So this
Very well.
is the guy who called
I'll
us.
inform the others your guest is to be given the run of the city. Pray forgive my less than cordial welcome. May the rest of your stay with us be a pleasant one.
I highly doubt that, but thank you.
Come with me. I will answer whatever questions you have when we are somewhere more private.
Oh, I have many questions. Many questions. I wouldn't call this private, but okay.
Right then. Before we plunge into the wheres and wherefores, let me first thank you for answering my summons. I had intended to bring you directly to my personal quarters, but I fear my aim was slightly off. That you are still able to make the crossing unharmed is a great relief.
Okay.
And so, we come to the question of where. The realm in which you now find yourself belongs to one of the 13 reflections, or shards. The first, to be precise, even if its inhabitants are largely oblivious to the fact. As to wherefore, having been awarded the rather grandiose title of Crystal Exarch. I, in my capacity as caretaker of the Crystarium, thought to seek the aid of you and your companions.
Why?
That is a question with no simple answer. But all shall be explained in due course, I promise you.
Uh-huh.
Let us begin with the glaring skies up above.
Please do. That would be useful.
Here in the First, the world has been all but consumed by primordial light. It began a century ago, by this realm's reckoning. A luminous flood swallowing everything in its path. More than 9/10 of this star was lost. And the fortunate few who survived are hounded by abominations born of that catastrophe even now. Sin Eaters, we call them. The creature you saw earlier was one such monstrosity.
Makes sense.
It was to save the First from this menace that I learned to bridge the rift between worlds. That I might call upon the aid of the greatest of heroes. And though it meant depriving a world of its champion, I had to try, for in saving the First, you would bring salvation to the Source as well. But what manner of host harangues his guests in the middle of the road? Let us continue our talk within the Crystarium.
Oh boy. This should be interesting. Well, more interesting than it already is, but you know.
Such a proud and vibrant city. The sole sanctuary for the living in a world all but resigned to oblivion. Each stone was laid with hope. The town itself a symbol, a monument to defiance in the face of death. No would-be hero could fail to answer its call. For who among us does not yearn for salvation?
Norvant, not Norvrant. Norvrant, okay. Here we are. Welcome, my friend, to the Crystarium. Now a full and frank discussion in the privacy of my study would seem to be in order. But I think our conversation would be more meaningful were you to first gain a firmer grasp on the situation here. To that end, I would like you to visit a few of the Crystarium's civic leaders and glean something of this world and its predicament. not clean, but you know. As you can see, the path will take you directly to the Aetheryte, a convenience with which I am sure you are only too familiar. Being the rightful object of my summoning spell, you should in theory be able to reach all the way back along your etheric trail and find a connection to the source, believe it or not. I strongly suggest you complete this attunement before venturing any further. And yeah, the others didn't do it, or did they like end up somewhere else? I don't know. After you have done so, walk up those steps next to the Aetheryte and head out to the left to arrive at the crystalline mean. This is where you'll find our collective of crafters, gatherers, as well as their spokeswoman, Callus, one of the people I should like you to meet. Another is Morin. To reach him and his cabinet of curiosity, you'll want to avoid the aforementioned steps. Take the exit to the left and simply continue straight along down until you come to the large doors at the end of the path. Okay? And so on and so forth. The third and final person I should like you to meet is Braggle, our man in charge of the trade and distribution. He is to be found in markets which you will access on the opposite side. Okay. In seeking out each of my colleagues, you will visit the major districts of the city and hopefully gain a feel of the place. I trust my directions were simple enough. Crystal clear. Literally. Very good. I concede. The layout of the Crystarium owes more to historic necessity than planning, but I'm sure you'll learn its twists and turns before long. In all honesty, the true challenge may be in finding the right way to approach its citizens. As you discovered during your encounter with the captain, the people of this world are unaware of the existence of other stars, and will struggle to accept the truth of your origin. That being the case, when they ask whence you hail, as they inevitably will, I suggest you claim to share homeland with a crystal exarch. There is an unspoken rule here about peering too deeply into that particular mystery. Interesting. When you are finished making the rounds, pray me be in the large courtyard at the center of town. Until then. And this is really like how the game started, like, oh, just meet everyone that's important in town and then we get into the Aetheryte and all that. Yeah. Excuse me, miss. Are you just recently come to the city perchance? I'm quite familiar with our civic rules. You see, and well, what I mean to ask is, have you brought any books with you? A rumpled scroll even? A scrap of scribbled on parchment? My apologies. Literature is something of an obsession of mine, as well as a profession. Librarian Warren. Oh, at your service. This humble collection is known as the Cabinet of Curiosity. As your powers of perception have likely informed you, my colleagues and I are responsible for curating all manners of tomes, documents, and other vehicles for the written word. As horrific as the loss of life and land brought by the flood unquestionably was, the damage of recorded knowledge was no less catastrophic. We do all we can to preserve what wisdom survived. But tell me, what brings you to the cabinet today? Looking for any title in particular? Mayhap a spot of academic research? Oh, so you've interested in modern history. Splendid. A thorough review of the recent events can often yield novel perspectives. I quite agree. If you would prefer something visual to accompany the account, then I think I have an illustrated history book for children somewhere. Just a moment, I'll fetch it for you. Good boy. And here we are. Would you like to pull up a chair? Make yourself more comfortable? On with the lesson then. Years ago, or near enough for that not to matter, villains known as the Warriors of Light slew the Shadowkeeper, the Steward of Darkness. In the wake of this tainted deed, light began to pour into the world as if from unseen cracks. It pooled and swelled without cease until the day an enormous blinding wave rose and swept across our star. We called this calamity the Flood of Light. Everything it touched was leached of life and vigor, leaving naught behind but a luminous wasteland. So that's, yeah. Yet, just when it seemed all was lost, a savior appeared before us. The Oracle of Light. She stood twixt us in approaching doom, and by her power did she stay the flood. Thus was Norvrant alone spared the fate of erasure. Tragedy would, however, arrive in another form. From the blasted emptiness descended horrors of strange and terrible aspect to bedevil the few folk that survived. These Sun-Eaters were light incarnate, and their fulgent presence stole the night from Norvrant's sky. Even now they circled the remaining bastions of civilization, ever on the hunt for us, ever hungering for our flesh. So, that's... wow. And thus did the world become what it is. Should you ever wish to hear this fate again, I would be glad to retell it for you. Or if you'd rather I speak of other matters, that too would be my pleasure. I should be glad of the company. In exchange with Warren and tell you about the flow of light, of course. Rare to see a place well stocked with goods, isn't it? But not here. I'm going to guess you're new to our fair city. Well, for what it's worth, you've chosen a fine sanctuary. The Exarch can throw up a barrier if the Sin Eaters come and knocking. So it's a damn sight safer in here than out there. Safer and more civilized too, thanks to us in the main. We work together to procure materials and resources, craft the goods which make the city life possible. This is the place to visit if you need a coat mended on a kettle or kettle forged. Just don't go thinking it'll all be handed to you on a plate like those Ilmoran layabouts. Here in the Crystarium, we work for a living. Though I see you're no stranger to honest labor, you don't have that whiff of indolence about you, like some folk I've met. Still, I can't quite pin down your profession. What is it you're from? One of the Exarch's countrymen, you say? I see. Well then, I'll work twice as hard to make sure you feel welcome. Our city wouldn't even exist if it weren't for him. And any friend of his is a friend of ours. It's really quite incredible when you think about it. They say his grand magic summoned the Crystal Tower into existence, pulled the entire thing out of thin air. It wasn't long before droves of refugees began congregating around its base, desperate to first self-shelter after losing their homes in the flood. That's how the Crystarium began. At the Exarch's invitation, buildings started going up, and with the help of some curious relics brought forth from the tower, the place gradually expanded into the thriving metropolis you see today. The city stood here for decades now, yet the eldest among us swear the Exarch looks exactly the same as he did back then. He is indeed a man of many mysteries, but for all his secrecy, he's never yet let us down. So if he and you wish to remain silent about your shared homeland, then the folk here will respect your wish of privacy. I am, however, more than a little curious to see any crafting talent you might be hiding. If you ought to contribute on that front, be sure to come back and visit once you've had a chance to settle in. Just ask for Catless, and I'll find you a nict. Here in the crystalline mean, can you help? You can help us keep the cogs of the city greased and turning. Life on the Crystarium. New to the safe, friend. The spinning head and wide eyes give you away. Welcome, my name is Brago, and I'm the master of these markets. They gave this district another official title, but I'm not in the habit of using it. Too florid by half. In any case, our merchants stock a range of equipment for Thrawn, such as yourself, so finding something in your size shouldn't be a problem. Sorry, did you say drawn? Aye, something wrong? Let's see if we can straighten this out. See those two in front of us? The short one is a human. The taller one is an elf. The sturdy individual there is a Galchant. Whilst the one with horns is a drawn like you. I see. And then you have the large, scaly calves with long tails and a knack for raising livestock. Those would be the Zune. Of course, there'd be different names. Which is apparently not the name you know them by. Now that I'm curious know which far-flung region you hail from. It's kind of complicated. The same as the Exarch. Well, that explains it. You don't get much further flung than that. We've had a few of your lot pass through in recent years, and despite their obvious learning, they've floundered over the simplest things. But not to worry, should you find yourself confused by the local language and customs, I'll be here to answer your questions. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Different names and all that. Though I guess it's to be expected. Different role, different ideas. Though ironically, they're all technically the same role, just turn into 13. Well, how did you fare? Did my colleagues help you form a clearer image of this world and its people? Yes, it seems you were treated to the most thorough introduction. I understand it was something of a chore, but it was necessary that you grasp these things before we proceed. As for the Crystal Tower's origin, you may have noted the details are sparse. The structure, in fact, is the self-same one you know from the source, transported to the first in its entirety. It was my first attempt at reaching the boundaries between worlds, something of a trial run for you your eventual crossing, and although I did not know which era it tore from, I do know its arrival served to set the wheel of fate in motion. The wheel of fate is turning. Wait, wrong game. Rebel 1 action. Okay. You've done as I requested and learned something of the world in which you find yourself. Now it's time I fulfilled my half of the bargain and explained what has befallen your comrades. This is a conversation I would rather have in the privacy of my quarters, however. I must go on ahead into the tower and organize a few things, but I shall see that the guard knows to admit you. I'm not familiar with that name. Is there something I should know? An extraordinary tale, but I'm afraid I have found no such individual residing in the tower when I pass into my care. Mayhap we can revisit that mystery another time. For now, I think it's best that we focus on the present.
Welcome to the Ocular, my private study. We can speak here without fear of being overheard. I have much to explain, but the truths which I must touch upon in doing so would cause only distress and confusion to the people of this world. Pray keep that in mind.
Makes sense.
Now, I am sure you are desperate to know the fate of your fellow Scions.
No, I don't care at all.
To put it simply, they are here in the first. Their arrival, however, was not as recent as you may imagine. Here, time flows at a different pace from that of the source.
I suppose that makes sense.
In the space of a single hour in your home world, an entire year might pass in the first, and the reverse could also be true. The pace fluctuates without rhyme or reason, and it cannot be predicted. That said, we seem to be entering a period of mere equivalence. And thus, for the moment, you need not overly concern yourself with the passage of time.
That's
As for your companions, however, Y'shtola and Urianger have dwelt here for 3 winters, all told, while Thancred's count stands at 5.
That's
Even our
interesting.
more recent arrivals, Alphino and Alize, have lived in the first for almost a year. My intention had been to summon only you, but the art of reaching across worlds has proven exceedingly difficult to master. Thus it was that my fumbling hand closed upon those to whom your fate is most closely bound as well. As they were not the object of my summons, Their transference was incomplete. Though they may appear to possess corporeal bodies, they are, in truth, merely spirits that one can see and touch. Consequently, while you yourself will be able to pass between worlds with relative freedom, they will not. Much as it grieves me, they are stranded here, unable to return.
Of course not. Hopefully we can find a way to fix that. Then find a way to send them back.
We spent every waking hour searching for a way to reverse the summoning. In the beginning, at least. As you may have surmised, however, our efforts met with little success. And then we all but abandoned the endeavor once Urianger shared with us the vision he had witnessed during his journey through the rift.
Which was?
In that chaotic no-man's land between realms, time and space warp and blend in unexpected ways. What Urianger saw was the future. That which would one day come to pass. In his vision of tomorrow, the first was rejoined with the source.
So, in the end it wouldn't matter because they'd be brought back anyways, right?
This collision of worlds brought about the 8th umbral calamity and the deaths of countless multitudes.
Right.
Amongst those who perished, Urianger clearly saw the fall of the Scion's mightiest champion. He watched you die.
Oh, joy. That would be great. I totally want to die.
And thus did the Scions embrace their exile, and began searching this world for a means to forestall the coming catastrophe in yours.
Makes sense.
Their souls are stranded in the first, yes, but they have fought on, desperate to save their home and you from destruction. Nor have their efforts been in vain, for it was they who finally established that the elimination of the Sin Eaters will indeed serve to prevent the calamity.
That would be good.
Considering these circumstances of our meeting, you would be forgiven for doubting my version of events. And so, before all else, I would suggest you track down your comrades and hear the tale from their lips. I shall of course be happy to assist in these reunions, and you need not make any decisions regarding your involvement until you are certain of where you stand. Meanwhile, I promise I will not rest until I have found a way to help your friends return home. What say you? Have I earned your trust for the moment, at least?
For the moment, but I'll keep you that I'll see you keep that promise for want of a better choice.
Excellent. You will not regret this. With that settled, we shall have to see about getting you ready for the road. Traveling across the rift has no doubt left you weary. I will arrange for a room where you might rest in comfort. While it's being prepared, perhaps I can show you around. This is the Musica Universalis, the commercial heart of the Crystarium. What you might need to prepare for your journeys can be purchased here. Ah, yes. You must be curious about the currency. Fear not. The gil you carry will serve you well enough.
Well, that's good at least.
Each nation once minted its own coins, but 'twas all a jumbled mess following the flood. After much debate, the local merchants eventually elected to revert to the old ways, wherein a coin's value was decided by the worth of its metal. As for a unit of measurement, we agreed upon the term gil, a word borrowed from coins uncovered within the Crystal Tower here. And as our traders peddled their wares across the land, so too did our usage of gil become common practice.
Makes sense.
From what your stola tells me, a standard coin from the source equates to exactly 1 gil here, or near enough, not to matter. Our way of life has benefited greatly from the artifacts we recovered from the tower, some of which may be familiar to you.
I can imagine.
But I fear it would not be practical for us to provide everything to which you are accustomed. You shall need a means to access the commodities of your homeworld. A Van Kerm Sin?
Yes, I'm here! Of course I'm here! What amusements do you have for me today?
A pixie?
My dear Feo paragon of pixie kind. For you, I have the most vital task. This fine lady is a friend from a distant realm. And we have need of a means to ferry things back and forth from her home.
Ferry? Please?
Might you be able to assist us in this matter?
Because it's a ferry.
You came from beyond, didn't you? From beyond the rift? How wonderfully exciting! What a brave and reckless and marvelous thing you did! You've the heart of a pixie, you do. After careful consideration, I have decided to grant you my assistance. Make a pact with me and the fun can begin. But answer me this, traveller. Did your garments come with you when you crossed over? Your teeth? Your nails?
Yeah.
Just as I thought! Then you've a good stout connection with your home through which all your belongings, great and small, may easily pass.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
From this moment forth I will be your Ffxiv, and you my Snay Yak. Like the branch which sprouts from the sapling, our bond will flow unbroken from one to the other. Raise your hand.
Okay.
Tis done. We are bound now, dearest sapling. Come then. Make your request. Tell me your desire. I wish to visit this world of yours.
Mayhap her message to your friends in the Source to inform them of your safe arrival.
Amongst other things.
Consider it done.
As you heard, that was Feo Ul of the Pixies. Their kind possess an affinity for magic akin to that of arcane beings. They rarely show themselves in populated areas, but Feo is insatiably curious even by Pixie standards, and seems to have taken a liking to the Crystarium. Right, we were going to organize a room for you, weren't we? Come along.
As a result of your pact with Feolul, you now have access to the delivery wiggles, marketed boards, and summoning bells while in the first. Interesting. Finalizing the matter of your accommodation. You'll have a private room here at the Pendants for the duration of your stay to make use of it as you fit. When you're ready to retire, the manager will show you to your lodgings. Pray, rest, and recuperate, and we shall reconvene in the ocular room. I believe that covers all the particular concerns. For answering my calls, Selena. We are denied the comforting blanket of night, but may peaceful dreams attend you nonetheless. Cozy.
You?
Oh, hey. Long time no see.
I know you. You're the warrior of light from the Source.
Your axe is bloodied. Warrior of darkness.
What? Did you just... You can hear me?
Yes, I can.
Gods, how long has it been?
Far too long for you, I'm sure.
That was what I called myself in your world. The Warrior of Darkness. My real name is Ardbert. I used an alias in the Source. A daft one, looking back.
No kidding.
If you recall my tale, it was my comrades and I who caused the flood.
Indeed.
We thought our home doomed. And so we listened to the Ascians. Let them guide us to the Source, and try to hasten their goddamned ardor.
Is that Ravana?
I remember when we fell, defeated by you and yours.
That's high.
I remember our audience with Minfilia. How she listened to our pleas and returned our souls to the First.
Yet that didn't go as well as you had hoped. Did it?
The flood was poised to swallow Norvrand. Minfilia and my friends, they surrendered what little they had left to hold it back. Just faded away. Leaving me to bear witness. Tell me, do you know the year? How much time has passed since we caused the flood?
100, give or take.
A 100 years. 100 long years.
Yes.
My hands find no purchase. My gestures catch no eye, and my pleas, be they whispered or screamed, reach not a single ear. I am a shade, cursed to do naught but drift. I feel as if I've been walking forever. I hardly noticed when my mind and body began to fray at the edges. Bang! My senses were sharp again. I felt like a fish being reeled in, and before I knew it, I found myself in this room. Why is it that you can see me? What are you even doing here, come to that?
It's a long story.
You were summoned to save the First.
Ironic, isn't it?
A waste of time. This world is beyond saving, like those who try to save it.
Yeah, if we don't.
Muddled as my mind may be, I've not forgotten that. But if fate has brought me to you, the one person in this God's forsaken world who can see and hear me, then perhaps there is a reason I endured. If I can find out why I was left behind, then maybe I can bring this journey of mine to an end.
One can hope, probably.
Well, I'll be watching, Warrior of Light. But do me a favor. Be careful out there. This world has had its fill of heroes.
Yeah, no kidding. So-called heroes caused the calamity. Can't imagine why they wouldn't be happy to hear, like, oh, you're a warrior of light? Well, get the hell out of here because we don't want you. That's warriors of light kind of ruined the world. As ironic as that is. Perhaps we can save the world this time. Norvrand. Wonder when the first dungeon will be.
Ah, how did you find your new quarters? I trust you were able to rest?
Indeed.
I was not aware the room was haunted.
Not like that.
And you were rather tired. Well, should you receive another visitation, be sure to let me know. Now, let us return to the subject of the Scion's whereabouts. This map shows the lands of Norvrand, the only area to be spared the Flood of Light. The Crystarium is here, in the region known as Lakeland.
Nice.
To the north is the fairy kingdom of Il-Meg. That is where you'll find Urianger.
Interesting.
To the east lies the once prosperous civilization of Rak-Tika. Your Stola is stationed there, in the heart of the forest. Alas, neither location can be reached without considerable difficulty.
Why is that?
As such, I would suggest you first seek out one of the twins, each of whom is stationed but a short flight from the Crystarium.
Did you just say flight?
Alphino is on Calusia, an island off the western shore. It is home to a city called Yulmore, where the rich and privileged while away their days in idleness. For his part in furthering our cause, Alphino journeyed there to meet with the citizenry and forge alliances. From what I hear, he has since kept himself busy gathering information around the main settlement. Alize, meanwhile, traveled south to the arid wastes of Armareng. They lie upon the very edge of the inhabitable world, where the Flood of Light was halted. Those who dwell there live in constant fear of attack by the Sin Eaters.
That would make sense.
In contrast to her brother, Alize felt that her energies would better be spent learning about the enemy, and thus she sells her services as a guard, both to hone her skills and gather information on our foe. So, will it be Calicia or Armorek? Simply inform me once you've made your decision, and I will see to it that you are provided with a suitable mount. But you must be wondering about Thancred. He has taken up with a new companion, and is presently engaged as a wandering hunter of Sin Eaters.
Well, if anyone's
Being
seen
ever on the move, his whereabouts are often difficult to ascertain, but I am certain your paths will cross ere long.
If anyone's seen the trailer, I'm pretty sure we all know who the new companion is, because he calls her Menphilia. This kind of reminds me of Warlords of Draenor. Hopefully it won't be. Okay. In search of Alphino, in search of Elise. Now, whom to go to first? cell. If I can find it. Now there it is. Elegant of Goetia. Interesting.
The whistling breeze, mute. The pounding surf, frozen. Time itself takes a breath. At light's edge, all is perfectly still. The world captured in a painting, locked in a moment. Music, faint and fleeting, drifts coastward on the lifeless air. And in the distance, beyond the broken earth, a city beckons.
Kalusha. We arrived at blah blah. Spy at the city in the distance. That's Ilmore, this island's main settlement. It rivals the Crystarium in scale and was once an ally in our battle against the Abominations. For years, Ilmore and Elite have fancied themselves the masters of what remains of our broken world. They've gone as far as to offer the leaders of other settlements their protection, if bent the knee. But to say their ideals are questionable would be putting it mildly. The Crystarium is one among the many who resist the heavy-handed authority, and while we are not at war, our relationship with Elmore is strained to say at best. May be wise to conceal your ties with the Exarch during your stay here, especially in the vicinity of the city. Glad we understand each other. Now the Exarch has instructed me to divulge a secret which should make finding your friend a deal easier. Listen closely. After fish, crab, think I've got an eel in a barrel somewhere if you give a taste for them. Oh, I do love a bit of thyme. Chuck some in the pan. It's a bloody festival of flavor. Now, what is it I can do you for? Can't say there's been much of it. Been many upsets to report these past few weeks. I know the one, our young champion at the downtrodden. Elmore's richer than all of the Northrend put together, but it's a different story for them who live outside the city. Most spend every waking moment just trying to stay alive, which makes their friend dedication to helping others stand out all the more. I can hazard a guess as to where he is now. Get a message to him, but you'll need somewhere quiet to meet, away from prying eyes. Make for salt. Still, dude. Still tied. That's a fishing village just up the path here. You're looking for a rundown excuse for a tavern in the locals called the Leaky Keel. Wait there, and I'll see that Elfino joins you. Thank you, stranger. Wow, it's instant. That's really helpful. It's your first time in a tavern. It's customary to buy a drink if you mean to loiter. What will you be having? Fine choice. And what will you be paying with? Well now, those are exotic. Where did you get coins like that? I'm sorry dear, I don't doubt they have value, but I don't have the touchstone to test their purity. I'm not about to go begging for one from the neighbors, so we'll just have to come to some sort of other agreement. Here's an idea. There's a common to the north where we grow our vegetables, but lately the pests have been eating more of them than we have. What do you say to a bit of extermination work? I want you to squash any vermin you find, then visit the caretaker and give him an earful for me for sleeping on the job. He'll be in the old silo next to the fence, snoring like as not. Do that for me and you can laze about here as long as you like. And he's returned. What? Yeah. Maybe.
And how is business today, Mistress Theva?
Oh, frenetic. Look, I have a new customer.
Tis good to see you, my friend. The barley seeds you wanted. They should produce a better harvest than the last.
What, just like that? Oh, Alfino, you really are a dear. Well, I'd best be tidying up some of those empty shacks before the pests move in. Keep an eye on the place while I'm out, eh?
It seems an age since last we spoke. Not since the prisoner exchange in Doma. And Yotsu. It has been even longer for me, of course, if you count the days I've spent here. But the time has only added to the relief I feel seeing you safe and well. Huh. Alize said much the same thing. I don't think I've ever had such a scolding. But I believe an exchange of news is in order. Come, tell me of your arrival and all that came before. I see. Both the Exarch and Alize told me what they knew of events, but I had stubbornly clung on to the hope that all-out war might yet be avoidable. And poor Tataru. She must be sick with worry. We must endeavor to return as soon as we may. It would be nice to bring her good tidings for a change. But before we bid this world farewell, we must first ensure that it is not rejoined to the Source. We must prevent the 8th Umbral Calamity. Urianger's vision of the future has, I fear, every chance of coming true. By his description, the catalyst for the Calamity was a formless and deadly weapon employed by the Garlean Empire. Which can only mean one thing. Black Rose. Gaius was telling you the truth. When we were on the trail of the Ascians, we saw evidence that the gas was being manufactured once more. Gaius was adamant that the project had been scrapped. But so long as there are wars to be waged, there will always be those determined to win by any means. And thus simply destroying the existing stores of Black Rose would do little to alter fate's course. In that sense, our involuntary journey here to the First was something of a boon. Together with the Exarch, we've developed a theory as to how we believe the rejoining will be set in motion. I'm sure Urianger himself will cover the subject in more detail. But I can tell you the process requires that both worlds, the Source and the First, be facing an existential threat. One being Sin-Eaters, of course. They are a menace that I would dearly love to remove, and not just to avert a calamity. I may be a stranger to this world, but I will not stand idly by and let innocent people be slaughtered. That is what brought me to the gates of Yulmore. Ignoring its pretensions as a kind of capital city to what remains of the world, it is nonetheless a center of power and authority. If any solutions are to be found, I believe our search should begin there. What say you, old friend? Hungry for another adventure? And so we take to the road once more. That gate up ahead is known as the Open Arms, and Yulmore itself lies beyond. This, meanwhile, is the aptly named Gate Town, the dwelling place of the many desperate souls who hope to be chosen to live in the city proper.
I thought I recognized you. Brought a new friend, eh? I'll bet you got a trick or two up your sleeve. Maybe even 3. Care to show me?
She's not here to compete. Leave her be.
What? I was only making conversation.
Ladies and gentlemen, your attention, please! Greetings to our hopeful petitioners, one and all! Yulmore extends its warmest regards. Let it be known that a lady of distinction wishes to dine on fish divine. We seek a master culinarian who can guarantee seafood perfection. Dazzle the matron with your delicious dishes, and life in the city will be yours to enjoy. Even on days when fish is not on the menu! Who among you will answer the call? Name yourself or another. We may not at all.
Was there anyone?
Do you recall how I said Yulmore was a center of power and authority? Well, that is not the only reason for its fame. It is also known as the City of Final Pleasures. The noble and the wealthy who survived the flood gathered here to live out the rest of their days in decadent abandon. A poor man could sooner pass through the Iron Needle than Yulmore's gates. The only way the common folk can enter this perverted paradise is if they fulfill the whim of one of the privileged. And so they are picked over like market produce.
What a catch! We'll not be throwing this one back. Having seen your all too obvious charms, we welcome you with open arms. Come, join us in the City of Splendor and live out your life in an ecstasy of endeavor. Oh, just look at those expectant faces. What could you possibly be waiting for? Well, well, what have we here? An extra share of meal to celebrate our newest resident! For you!
Oh,
Enjoy!
thank goodness.
Meal is a foodstuff which Yulmore routinely doles out to the people of Gate Town, and apparently a staple for its citizens as well. Many here rely on it to survive in these times of scarcity, yet the whole arrangement just seems... well, let's just say it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. There you are. The thief who claimed the harvest on my behalf. Hand it over.
Well, forgive me. I have to get into the city. I have no family and all my friends have already been chosen. No one here gives a damn about me. When the meal gets handed out, I'm lucky if I get a smell of it. No matter what I do, they won't call out my name. I'm so tired, I'm so bloody hungry. I thought maybe I could steal your idea, get in that way.
What is your name?
Ffxiv.
Tell me then, Ffxiv. Must it be Yulmore or nothing? What of the Crystarium? They may not offer charity, but you would be fairly compensated for any work you did.
No, it has to be Yulmore. That's where all my friends are. We made a promise that we'd live together in paradise.
I was to make my deal with the Ondo at the Clave. Listen carefully, and I shall tell you my plans for the business, and how best to arouse the Yulmoran's interest.
You'll give me your place? Just like that?
I'm giving you a chance, nothing more. What comes of it is entirely up to you.
I understand. Oh, thank you, thank you!
This was but one path. There will be others. But for young Ffxiv, it was the difference between life and death. I do not regret my decision, yet I will admit that a part of me wonders if it was for the best. We strive to bring swift salvation to this world, that countless lives might be saved, not least your own. Even if it came at the cost of one man, should I have forged on regardless? I suppose not. Were Estinian here, he would most likely scoff at my soft-heartedness.
Same old Alfino, ever the slave to sentiment.
But I thank you for your kind words nonetheless. Let us see to it that both these stories have a happy ending. Shall we return to Rite then? Is that... I can't be sure, but I think someone's in trouble. Come on, they may need...
Redemption is beyond us. The lament of all but saints and fools, and the comfort of the lords and ladies of this accursed place. Once they held fast against the madness, only to embrace the coming cataclysm and delight in the end of days. Perhaps in rapture they seek to lose themselves and the misery they share. Or perhaps for them alone, the promise of eternal pleasure really does hold true.
Lord and Lady Chai, pray forgive our intrusion. I am given to understand you were in search of an artist.
Ah, you must be the new,
Oh, goodness me! What an adorable boy! That silken hair, those pearly cheeks, oh! And you even smell wonderful, like a bed of flowers. I approve of this one, dearest. I am positive he will paint us the most delightful pictures.
Yes. Well, as long as he paints better than that talentless wretch we sent packing last week.
Wonderful, wonderful! Welcome to Yulmore.
Alphino, if it please you, my lady. And this is my assistant.
Your assistant? I've heard of folk bringing in family members, but this seems a bit irregular. Aren't you a little young to have a protege?
We are family in all but name, my lord. Though we share no blood, we have stood by each other through life's many challenges, resolved to prevail together or not at all. Of all people, 'tis she who best understands my work. With her unique insight guiding my hand, the art I create is sure to satisfy your expectations. Once the picture is begun, of course, I shall have no need of constant encouragement. And so I wondered, rather than her being in your way, might it then be permissible for my assistant to explore the city she has so longed to see? Out of gratitude for her priceless contribution to my art, I thought it only fair that I make this humble request on her behalf.
Oh, did you ever hear of such devotion? Of course your assistant must have her wish. She shall be free to roam to her heart's content. Isn't that right, darling?
Oh, yes. Yes, of course, dearest. Quite right.